presenter and the presentation, Why Contractors Choose Acumatica Construction Edition. I'd like to welcome Joel Hoffman, Product Manager, who will give us a brief overview on Acumatica and provide a more detailed demonstration of how our software can best meet your needs. Over to you, Joel.
All right, thank you, Susan, and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today. And before we begin, I just want to introduce Acumatica to the group. So Acumatica was founded back in 2008, and we provide cloud business management software integrating companies' financials, including job cost accounting, project management, things you'll see today, customer relationship management, reporting, and all that is in the cloud and on mobile devices. So Acumatica is known for our leading edge technology, business functionality, and really being able to provide our solutions through a network of partners who specialize in and are knowledgeable about your businesses in the construction industry. 75% of Acumatica's resources are dedicated to development and advancement of our products. And you'll notice when you talk with your partners that we have a unique all-inclusive user licensing that lets unlimited field and office staff connect to your business anytime and anywhere. So as we're talking about why contractors choose Acumatica, let's take a quick look at the challenges contractors face and how a connected cloud solution like Acumatica can mean better decision-making, more profitable projects for you. Because as we're identifying that information, what we hear from our customers, what are those individual challenges of the businesses today and profit fade and how we get things going, what happens with that job margin? They start to diminish or progress. Why is that? Well, what we find is why folks are running into issues with that profit fade is really how they can see the information. So looking at Acumatica as that connected cloud, that profitability of businesses depends on how effective you can manage, organize, schedule, and communicate across the organization. As contractors, you guys have the opportunity to knock down or eliminate those silos within your organization with the Acumatica product. And we're the only cloud solution provider that includes CRM, the relationship management, project costing, management, all in one connected application with an open architecture that allows contractors like yourselves to connect with other mission critical applications. So as we're looking at those things today, keep that in mind as how you envision or how we're working with that cloud environment and what we're doing to really get you guys the ability to have a single source of the truth and visibility into all the activity. So as we're looking at that, you'll see there a little screenshot of the mobile application. As we're dealing with things, know that what you're looking at is available both on the web version as well as inside of the mobile devices themselves. So with that, again, I want to thank you for joining us, and I'm going to show you the software in action. All right, and what I thought I would do, as the dashboard's coming up here in a moment, is give you a little lay of the land. What are you looking at? First, but some of you, it might be the first exposure you have with the Acumatica product in general. So, how do people navigate? What are the things that are coming in? Well, Acumatica is a role-based application. You'll see I'm logged in as an administrator, so I have access to multiple functions. But you folks have the ability to decide, hey, when this particular user logs in, what type of user are they? Are they in finance? Are they a project manager? What visibility do we want to have? But what's nice about the overall view into our software application is when you're getting in, think of that as their own tailored landing page, their homepage. Where are they going to start their day, and how can Acumatica help those folks get to the information they need in a timely manner? So, as we're looking at just this example of a particular dashboard that's coming in, you can see it. I'm looking at my projects. I got a handful of ones. I want to see where we're doing with the cost and how we're performing against the particular budget. where are we coming through? How are we looking at from the estimate? And I'll talk to you in a moment how we can just drill down. You might notice some hyperlinks, and as we're looking at the parts of the charts there, donuts or the bars, well, I can just drill down right from my dashboard into that information. And what's nice is these dashboards are all user configurable, so you could tailor that to a particular user or even a type of role of user, and you'll see some different things. Not only just some nice visuals there from a charting perspective, but you'll see I even have a job site camera, so I'm able to put in live web links and links out to URLs there. And in this case, if I wanted to go out and see, well, what's happening, what's changing on that, this is through a little TrueLock is the individual, or TrueLook is the website for the camera. I could be keeping those updates and then even getting back in to see how things are happening. So the items to keep in mind here is, how easy is it to use. You can see I'm just doing point and click. I could set those colors to make things stand out to your individual users, because that's really what we found from a user experience is folks like to get in and say, tell me what I need to be doing today, and let me start to look at those exceptions. I want to see what projects need my attention. Are there documents that might need to be followed up on? What kind of things happen there? Well, with this dashboard view, it's a nice landing page for folks to start their day, and then even maybe start to roll into their favorites and how they might get around. But I want to draw your attention to the top of the screen there where it says search. Throughout the Acumatica software, you can just decide, what is it that I'm looking for? Well, you know what? I have some bills I want to identify. You'll notice I just typed in the word bill. Well, it shows me right away, well, where are those things on the menu function that might be containing that information? So I could jump right to a particular item. So you might not know, or you don't know necessarily where it is on the menu. You don't want to have to start searching. Well, what are you trying to do? Let me type that in and get to it. Well, I can get right to the help topics. Online help, it's case sensitive, and it comes right into the ideas of where you are, so you can see where you're coming from. But what's really nice, that's great from a menu and a help, but I want to see all the transactions. Maybe there's a particular invoice I want to look at. Well, I can type that invoice number in, or I can type that particular subcontract information there. There you'll see it showed me, well, here's a quick view of accounts payable bills. And because Acumatica offers the full document management and document storage items, so I can even go over to the files, and now you'll see, well, these are all images and different attachments that have come throughout the application. In this case, includes the word bill. So just think about the ease of use and how folks can find particular transactions. You're on the phone with a customer and they're questioning a particular invoice. We'll type that invoice number in. You'll be able to drill right down to it, find it in that transaction, and it'll take you right into that part of the software. So just some easy things that get into it, and just how I can find things within the application. I don't have to be working around trying to figure out where it is in the menu. Yeah, I type in what I'm looking for, comes right back into it. Other things you'll notice across this toolbar, because Acumatica is a multi-company capable application. Like I say, which company am I looking for? Where do I want to get into it? Start to pull their dates, a little question mark up there, deals with the help, the online help tools, and then even the users, and then within that users, where I might have roles into the activity. So, just wanted to bring some things to your attention where, hey, I want to get in, and now I'm starting to look at the details where they are, so I can have the dashboard. But remember, I talked about the menu, or what we consider workspaces, on the left. That tells me, what are I could set up my own favorites, and maybe that's where I start my day and go through. Am I looking at, in this case, all the construction items? Just think of that role-based activity. Well, if I'm a project manager or a construction accountant, well, I'm looking at construction and project management. I'm not looking at the GL and the finance or the inventory items if I need to. So again, tailored by that particular user or by that user role as well. So it gives you flexibility and that security on what information is going to come through there. As we're dealing with construction and why folks are using us today, I'll bring a quick view into some of the capabilities here within the construction management. Yeah, we want to organize things so you can see here's the transactions if we're entering change orders or we're going out and putting together a quote. So you can think of that life cycle from a project, from the time it might start in our CRM system as a, a possible opportunity, to now putting that quote together. Hey, let's roll that in. We got awarded that work. Now we're going to start to pull the project together. I'm going to go into projects. Think of this as your project console. You'll see here in a minute, but you'll see on the right there a good number of reports. And again, this is a streamlined view of what's happening, but you have that ability to now start to tailor what those menus are. As what's nice in Acumatica, I could have just gone in, say, hey, I need to start a new project or I need to create a new invoice, but I wanted to bring up another tool set you'll find throughout the application, or just what we call that, the initial grid or that list. So I said projects. Well, it takes me to that quick view. Well, here's all my construction projects. Well, you'll notice I have the ability to come in and identify different filtered activities on there, which ones are planned. Well, here's a couple of projects that we have in planning. We're still working out the details, maybe putting that estimate together. My completed projects, my construction projects I'll go back to. But again, we talked about that search overall, but if you have a whole list, maybe you have, you're in the accounts payable and the vendor invoice items, and you have your list of all your invoices. Over on the right, you'll notice another little search activities where I can come in and just say, what am I looking for? It's something you want to keep in mind throughout the application. Here I have my default view there. Well, if I wanted to change or add different columns, let's just take a quick peek into how that might happen. I can come in and say, well, what's available for me to look in that particular, in this case, the little list of projects. You'll see that in entry screens if I want to rearrange or hide some fields. Maybe there's things that you're not using on the cost side of things or in a particular entry. Well, you can get rid of it and you can move those around. So again, those tools that you can tailor your experience within Acumatica right back down to the user. Well, I'm going to go into this beach hotel and condominiums. Because what you're looking at here is just what I would consider a project console. Just think about how you might have to jump around to different things, and hey, I'm looking at a job. Well, now I got questions about what we budgeted for that, or hey, are there open change orders out there? Maybe we have some commitments that are coming through. Well, right within that project screen, based on what I have visibility to, you'll notice the different tabs and just what I want to get to. This allows me to see all that information, and I'll even collapse the menu a little bit more, give us some more real estate. What is it that I'm looking at? Well, I'm looking at the individual project, the hotel project. Well, it gives me a quick summary. Just give me some details about it, how we doing some things. But from a construction side, what do we need to do? Well, we need to know what our budget is. So there's a quick, okay, here's a individual cost budget, and you'll see some items where I have, excuse me, where I have my individual cost codes, what I've budgeted for. Are there any open commitments, any change orders out there? What are those different details available? Well, what's you'll find within Acumatica as well, if there's questions about, what's the labor items, maybe there's some things with this particular cost code item itself, I can jump right in, view commitments, view transactions. Well, I want to see what those costs were. I don't want to have to get out and have to run a particular view and find out from the menu. Well, there you go. There's all my cost items that came through. In this case, some project management and labor activities. What am I looking at? So we want to keep that information so you're not having to go to multiple layers, that you as a user of Acumatica have things right there at your fingertips. Because if we're thinking construction, well, we need to know what we've budgeted. If I scroll over a little bit, how far along are we? What have we committed? That's going back into our open items. What have we spent, and how much of that budget have we spent, percent complete, and where we might start to go. So again, think of the column headings. You'll notice, because I have administrative rights, I have all kinds of different information up there, but you'd have the ability to say, this is what a project manager should use. This is what a particular items should have visible to them. So we talk about cost. Well, the other side of that certainly is then the revenue. Well, what do we anticipate billing? Now we're coming in and we start to see those individual items of what things that are coming in, because from a billing perspective, now you're telling us the type of billing, and in these particular revenues, we're keeping this is more of a progress bill, but you have the ability to set up progress, T&M. It's a cost plus, so we're looking at those costs, adding the markup on, because those are all different activities that come through, and you're just really thinking about setting up the project. Hey, I got these costs I anticipate. This is the revenue that I'm anticipating. Now, how do I start to identify what's going to happen with that? Because from these particular items, and we'll get some more of the day-to-day details there, I also have the ability to think of this as my little project P&L. All right, I went back to balances. Here's my project. What kind of income am I anticipating? What expenses have I incurred so far? And be able to have a quick view. How are we doing on that job? What's the cost and the revenue that's come in? We have things like your regular work in progress report and types of bonding reports and things like that. But I might want to see a quick detail. But notice you see transactions and commitments. If I'm looking at revenue, I could go in and drill down into the invoices that are happening. If I'm looking at materials, maybe I want to go over to the purchase orders. I don't have to go over to different functions. I can do things right from within the view that I'm on. As we do, of course, have purchase orders, subcontracts, and under the commitments, being able to just create them from this entry too. So it just depends on our users' workflows and what kind of things are coming together. But it's just simple to get your way around. Still looking at the hotel. Well, we got SunTech has a subcontract. One thing I want to point out, a little visual you'll see all the way to the left there where my mouse is part of that documentation. Well, you know what? I have the subcontract on file. Let me see that, and what do I start to view? So again, from that document management or that details, whether I'm browsing or dragging and dropping those things, or doing things with our Outlook plugin where I can take an email and say, hey, log an activity to this particular project, or you know what, I need to create a project issue from this email or RFI. And think of that whole ecosystem of how we're coming through Acumatica and what each person is responsible every day. I mean, there's a ton of things going on in that construction world of yours, and now how do we simplify that and make it easy for your users to go through? Because if you think how this might roll down into an implementation or the day-to-day using, you can set up those workflows or those different actions of what needs to happen. Right, so we have our commitments that were coming in. Maybe you want to see our change order activity. We can see the status. Hey, there's some changes that are out there, haven't been approved yet. We need to upgrade the lobby carpet. There's some paint changes that need to come through, and it's tracking that change order activity. Now we're not going to get into details of that, but it can initiate from maybe a project issue came in from the field. That becomes a change request. We group those change requests together. Now that comes in and starts to generate the actual change orders themselves, because that's all your daily activities that are coming through. You want to be able to track it, have it within it. Remember those silos I talked about earlier, now being able to have all that information visible, as now it's coming in. It's a single source of the truth. Everybody sees the same information from the time it goes back to the dashboard to the time that it's just looking at a particular project. And if you think of what you guys are doing every day, well, now I'm coming in this case, I was progress billing. I could see my different pay applications, things like your AIA documentation being generated from that progress billing, or just straight T&M or AR invoicing. You guys have control over the types of invoicing that is produced, how those things might look, and now what you might want to do. As if you think about those details, I won't go through all those tasks. I just want to highlight a couple of those revenue and cost related items. As users, you guys have the ability throughout the application too is to tailor what I might want to go into. Well, so it's a cost projection. Well, maybe I want my people as they're looking at this project to go out and give me some forecasted cost at completion. There, guys, just launch it right from here, pass over that job and start to go. And we want to make it a limited number of clicks that your folks have to go through, make it easy, come right in. If there's a set of favorite reports they might be running, well, let me just put that right on the toolbar up there. And now I have that capability. And from a project perspective, provide that visibility, get right down into it. One of the items I wanted to touch on prior to leaving this project console is the compliance and certification. Notice there I have a couple I have a certificate, maybe it's an occupancy certificate, whatever document I want to put there, as well as insurance. But you should see a little exclamation point there, because we're also tracking that that document's expired, and then having that capability of getting notifications and how things occur based on that document. And same thing might go through from an accounts payable, making sure you got all the compliance documents from your vendors prior to either entering an accounts payable invoice or cutting them the check. You have a full compliance activity across the application. In this case, we're looking at projects, but think of that as just vendors, customers, where else you might want to throw in the compliance. So this part of it, we're thinking of the construction financial side, the cost, the revenue, building my commitments, starting to track that. And again, because of single application, those commitments tie right to your accounts payable. I want to bring up the project management component too, because here we dive into more of those things like a request for information, RFI, project issue, trawling logs, field reports, photo logs. What are those things that we want to start to incorporate? So what I have up available to us is just a quick daily field report. Again, I'm looking at it here on the web version. You also have the ability to now expose a daily field report right on the mobile app, because from a daily field report, I'm coming in, I want to see, capture that time. I need to go out, there was an issue. In this case, the lobby floor was the wrong design on the tile. Okay, am I taking a picture and I tying that picture out to that particular report? Well, now that project issue, it starts a whole conversation or an activity related to the job. Well, that might end up with a change request, and now I want someone to be able to see the change request in the field. I want to be able to document what's going on, because from the daily field reporting, now I want to be able to get in, log that activity, get the weather observations, any visitors, what are those things coming together? We provide the ability for you and your folks to now capture that, and then print a document, have the images there, email it, whatever we might want to do. Because as we're thinking of that whole project life cycle, we need to have it initiated. We need to set up those costs, manage those costs as we're going through day-to-day operations, start to collect information from the field. And these are all things that Acumatica, as an overall application, are helping our customers do, because we can bring it all together. And in this case, I'm looking at my field report information, which might then initiate that change. So just in your minds, think about how many manual steps this might be going on today, because from our customers, this is all happening real time. Because if we go back to that initial dashboard, if we think of those open commitments and change orders, so this is refreshing this information in real time. So if a change gets approved or a change gets initiated out in the field, I have visibility right back here in the office. I'm not waiting for somebody to bring back documentation. I just update on my mobile app, on my daily field report, say, yep, okay, submit. And now those details are right back here for others in the organization to view. So it's making that project life cycle much more streamlined for your folks, that I have that information, and then I have the ability just to start to look down. And in this case, it's that same hotel. Well, maybe I want to drill down into that particular summary, and now I can say, well, how much have we spent? Where are we dealing with things? Because that's just simple ways of getting to that information. In this case, with a drill down right from the dashboard right to the project, and I can keep going down. I could drill into those commitments. I could then open up the subcontracts or the purchase orders. Again, this gives you those layers of information. I'm not having to go back to the menus or trying to figure out where that information might be stored. Even down to the simple things like a work in progress report here I have for that same hotel. What did we budget? How much have we spent? What did we build? What are we dealing with in that particular life cycle and this project visibility? Because that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to provide our customers that visibility into your project, or really the whole financial application, whether it goes from you're the person dealing with the accounts payable, you're the person doing the billing, you might be doing the ordering and the purchasing. Let's bring all that together and now have that in a simple, easy to use I want to get out there, and in this case is a project overview. Real quick, let me just show you a different dashboard from a project manager perspective. Can you notice there was different ones I could tailor to my extent? Here I have a weather application. Let me show me the weather at a particular location. Now think back to the visuals. I have nice colors, red, green. Who am I waiting for? Hey, I'm waiting for people to send back an RFI. What are the items that are coming in? Again, present it, and I like to think of this as a little bit more management by exception, and being proactive that's coming in, so I could see what things I need to work on, because I might be responsible for 10 different projects. Well, one really needs my attention today. The other ones seem to be going okay. Tell me that, instead of me having to go back and figure out where I need to be. Right. So, again, within Acumatica, as we're looking at that information and that detail of how things are coming together, what are we doing? Well, we're helping folks. We're connecting people, projects, and really streamlining that project. In very high overview today, what we'll look at is the application and get some follow-up for you folks. Because, as we're looking at the overall construction edition of Acumatica, and we talk about the construction financials. So whether you're a general contractor or subcontractor, specialty, civil or engineering, maybe you're a home builder, wherever it comes through, Acumatica's true cloud software allows you to handle that business with the construction, the financials, the job cost accounting, payroll, project management, and whether the construction app. We didn't talk that much about that today, but if you go to our marketplace, you'll see companies like ProEst. If you're doing your estimating out there prior to the job, I'll have that come back in. Now we have different partners that integrate right with the software. Because of our open architecture, makes it easy for those folks to come back in and identify it. Because realistically, you need more than financial insights. You need organizational insights across all the different areas, whether it's your sales, marketing, your project management, your construction, your inventory, warehousing, from that initial project all the way down to the time that it starts to get built, and your field service processing in Acumatica. Here we're the only construction accounting system that can really seamlessly move that across any or all those modules in a single uninterrupted workflow. As about Acumatica itself, 5,200 plus customers, a worldwide organization. We're one of the fastest growing providers of cloud business management software. We have a highest customer satisfaction rate, and it's not a coincidence, because we view our customers as our most important asset, and really committed to their success. And as a visual, Acumatica being the global company, you'll see the map there, whether it's support, engineering, the construction management team, the sales team. We're spread out across the globe because we are multi-currency, multi-company, however you might be need to deal with the application. We have that available to you for the folks in the construction field. All right, Susan, I went through very quickly all those items.
Thank you, Joel. Actually, that was a great overview and demo. We do have a few questions, and if we're not able to get to your question, we will follow up with you personally. But we just have a couple minutes here, and just wanted to ask a couple questions, Joel, for you to answer. Sure. So there was a question about, do you offer an open API, and do we integrate with Procore?
Okay, the answer would be yes to both of those. So as software developers, companies like Procore have the ability, and we have a specific Procore interface, but with that open architecture in the API, then you'll see just the ability for developers and other companies themselves to easily connect right into the Acumatica platform. So I mentioned the marketplace earlier. Go out to the marketplace to get a sampling of what's there. So yeah, Procore is one of the partners.
Okay, fantastic. And can you talk a little bit about how does accounting get notified of changes made by a project manager in the field? How does that work?
All right, great question. So inside of Acumatica, I talked about those updates from the field, and maybe there's some actions that need to happen. What you'll find is the ability to set up different notifications or even events. So in that case, You could set up a notification to say when this happens, in this case, an accounts payable invoice got entered or got approved. Well, now someone needs to get that notification, whether that comes through an email, a text message. Folks that have the phones, they get a little push messages too, or a little bubble pops up on your screen. So we have a built-in notification process, as well as an event activity where you can set up when a particular event happens, then what? Who gets notified and what happens? That's a great question. That's one of the functionality pieces built into the application to help everybody stay on the same page and get notified when they need to.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joel. We have numerous other questions. So what we'll do, as I mentioned earlier, follow up with you personally to answer those questions. We are out of time for this webinar. I want to thank you for your time and participation, everyone. Great job, Joel. And now this concludes our presentation. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.